Aye.
Hey, and welcome back. So this is the crochet vlog plus patterns for my second Halloween costume. So it's going to be divided up into two parts. So we have the top and the bottom that I created. I wanted to do the arm warmers, or in the picture she's wearing gloves, but I was going to adapt them into arm warmers. But I just did not have the time that I wanted to. So that is that. What is on my forehead? Okay. So we are starting off with the top, and this is more of the crochet block portion. If you want the exact pattern for the skirt, then you can go ahead and skip ahead, and I will add the time marker here, but I'm also going to separate the video into chapters for you. So we actually start off with another yarn shopping day. So I lucked out and found the yarn that I needed at a local, it's more of like a corner store, or if you live in the States, it would kind of be the equivalent of like a Family Dollar or a Five and Below, like a mix of the two. So they're not necessarily branded, but they're locally owned shops that are scattered throughout the city, and they sell like home goods, yarn, crafting stuff, like all kinds of things you could need at like affordable prices. And so I popped into one on my way home from my yarn shop one day, and they had like the colors I needed, and it was really affordable. So I snagged those up, and I got to work on the top. So I adapted the pattern from, I think it's Cutie Kitty Crochet, and I made it two-toned to match the shirt. And I kind of just worked on it over a few days. So we're gonna kind of jump in there. So here's the progress that I made, and this is me showing you that while I followed her pattern, I also used a asymmetrical top that I already owned just to make sure that I got the fit kind of how I wanted it to. So here we're starting at what would be kind of like the bottom right corner, so opposite the strap, and I'm starting with the green. And you'll know her pattern, but basically I kind of did my own little measurements to see where I need to start switching to the black to make it perfectly divided in half. Okay, so I'm quickly showing you all an update because, yeah, I've just been working on the top. So this is the shape of it, right? And this side is where that strap is going to come up and go like that. So I'm following her pattern, but I'm in section 3, I believe, where we're just adding like rows without increase to add some width to the top to kind of cover your bust area more. I'm not fully sure, like I'm measuring it up to this one sleeve top I already have, so I'm not fully sure how the optics are going to work. Like maybe I need to pull this down more. But yeah, that's where we're at. I'm going to show you all actually how I've been changing the yarn halfway through. So yeah. For starters, if you're following the pattern, you start off down here at this little kind of like triangle point, and then you start doing your increases. And so in the video you do the measurement. She does an equation for you to determine how long you want this bust portion to be. So you would take the circumference of your chest, divide it by 2, and then add 3 or 4 inches to accommodate for like the sides of your chest that it's going to wrap around. And so what you should do is basically, you can just measure honestly the halfway point. So like once you're starting here, it starts off tiny like this, and you're going to keep increasing to a point. So you can start adding the black yarn in once you hit about 9 inches. And as you can see, it was gradual. So I added the black in at this first row. When I added the black in, it was only 1 stitch, and then the next row was 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., etc. And I added the black in on the side that it increases. So it's actually gonna like if you're following the pattern, you'll know that once you get to this right side, the side that's kind of curving, you increase only on the right side. You do not increase on this side, which is why it's straight. Mine curves a little because I actually did some increases, but that's neither here nor there. So I just added it in on this last increase stitch, and this actually signifies literally how much we've increased over these past few rows, all the way up to this point. So I'm literally just I'm starting the black yarn at that same point every time, because as you can see on Shego's shirt, it's just a straight line. There's not like a diagonal really where the black comes in, so I didn't have to kind of do it like alternated to go at an angle or something like that.
So basically once I get to this last stitch, I have one more green stitch, right? One more green V, and then we cross into the black territory. So I'm going to create my single crochet. At this last stitch, you're going to pull it through. Before you finish off your single crochet stitch, you are actually now going to switch and pick up your black yarn to finish that off, so that you can now seamlessly transition into the black, right? Isn't that beautiful? And you're just going to continue across. It's literally just that simple. When you start, you're going to tie the black on. So on this first row, I tied on the black, and then I just tucked my ends for the green, and you just leave a tail of the green. I tied on the black, and I just tucked my ends for the black, which is this right here, which is really ugly. So I'm actually going to take this out and tuck it into the black. I just wasn't thinking at the time. But, and you just leave the tail for the green so that you can kind of pick it up every time you get back around to the green part. And the same way that you saw me, I just picked up my black yarn once I got back over there. So yeah, that is how I'm changing color. And I think it's coming along really well. I'm now in section 3 of the pattern, where you're just doing single crochets across the, just doing single crochets for a couple of rows. She did single crochet rows with no increase for about 3 inches. And so I don't know if I'm going to do exactly 3 inches. I don't want my shirt to be as long as hers is, but I'll be doing something around there, maybe between 1.5 to like 2.5 inches. So yeah, I'll be back then. So I think I'm obsessed. Like, I'm gonna insert a photo of the INSPO. I think we've executed, besties. It is longer than I intended it to be, but it doesn't matter. I'm obsessed. It is time to start on this skirt. So it is Saturday. Halloween is on Monday. The top came out so cute that I'm like, we gotta see it through. So the way the top came out has also impacted the pattern I want to do for the skirt. So I was gonna like combine a few patterns that I've seen and go from there. But I don't know. And the skirt I want to do, I want it to sit a little bit lower because the top comes low. Before I was gonna have it up high, but I'm fine with it sitting below belly button. So starting with the green waistband, we will create the circle after we've made the entire waistband. So just a note, I'm using footage from a purple version of this skirt that I started out when I'm testing the pattern, so that's why it's not green yarn. But in this case, you're going to be using green yarn. However, the first thing that you need to do is figure out the circumference of the widest part of your hips, which is going to be the circumference basically around your bum. And you need to make sure it's around this widest part, because if you do not do that, then it is not going to get up over your waist. And we will be creating a way to cinch in the waistband later on so that it fits snugly around the thinner part of your waist. Okay, so I am checking in. I completed my chain to fit around the widest part of my hips, which, you know, you wrap it around your bum. So for me, that was approximately 34.5 inches, and that was a chain of about 106 stitches. And then you connect it into a big ring. This is not my favorite way to create a skirt waistband, to be quite honest, because connecting that long of a chain into a ring without having a twist is quite difficult. And you can sometimes make a more flexible waistband by crocheting. Like this way you create the circumference first, whereas there's other ways where you could just crochet a chain that would be the width of your waistband and then crochet rows until it reaches the proper length. hopefully that made sense. You double crochet in each stitch in the round because you've now connected your chain to create a ring, so you're crocheting in a round. And I'm showing you guys how I'm crocheting into the chain just because I'm doing it a particular way that I prefer. So normally you really can just take the, when you double crochet into the chain, you can just put the head of your needle into the hole and complete your double crochet. But I'm not exactly doing it that way. We are going to scrap that. I am actually doing it where you find your, this is my next chain. You're basically going to find the V or the U, however you view it, that the chain create, and you're going to crochet in both loops, leaving the back post out. So this is the front, and there's your V or your U. And if you flip it, this line that goes through the middle of the V or U is considered your back post. So we are crocheting in the 2 loops of the V. So I'm yarning over, lifting up this first loop of my V, and lifting up the, lifting up the second loop of my V. So now the V is on my hook, as you can see. And then I'm completing my double crochet. That was kind of my only update for you all. But I did want to show you that because that's another option to complete the chain. And then as you can see, it does kind of make a difference in how this bottom part of the stitch looks. So yeah, just checking in to let you guys know that that's something I decided to do. And I will check back in with you once I finish the waistband. I am going to show you guys very quickly. For row 2, you will be doing an alternating pattern of front post and back post double crochet, and you will do this for 4 more rows, I believe is how many I did. You will create a waistband that is a total of 5 rows of double crochet, with the base row being regular double crochet, and then the last 4 rows being the alternating pattern of front post double crochet and back post double crochet. I'm just showing you guys all this on this little test swatch so you can understand how to do the stitches. So I'm going to first show you front post double crochet, and when we start round 2, you will start the row with a chain 2, and then you will start off with a front post double crochet. So to do front post double crochet, you go around the front. So you see how your hook stays in front of your work, right? You're going to go from this way, the front, to the back, and create a double crochet. And the double crochet stitch is the first loop you pull up and off, wrap around again, pull the middle 2, wrap once more, pull the bottom 2. Now your next stitch, you will be doing back post double crochet. So your hook is going to go behind. Do you see that? Behind. And from back to front of the next double crochet stitch. And you will pull your loop up, the first loop up and off, middle 2 and bottom 2. Coming in again, front. Oh my goodness, sorry y'all. And finally, back. And then in the last stitch, I will just do a normal double crochet. And I just want to show you the pattern that this creates when you do this front post and back post alternating little stitch. It's going to give you like a nice ribbed effect, okay? And I will put the pattern on the screen so that you all can follow, because you will be alternating whether you start with front post double crochet or back post double crochet for each row. So I have created the waistband. This is actually row 5 that I've just finished off, because when you look at the photo, the waistband is just a little bit thicker, and I just wanted to have enough space to crochet that oval and place it right here in the middle. So now we're going to be moving on to the second part of the pattern, which, as you see, we just begin double crocheting in each stitch around. So the way that I will be doing it actually is that basically this is going to be the front middle. So where we join at the end of the round will be the front middle of the skirt. And imagine as I double crochet the skirt down this way, right? The marking line where the green stops and then the black will start is going to be here where we're joining. But that also means that I will have to be switching colors at the exact halfway mark on the other side as well, so that it lines up properly. So basically what you'll do is just count the amount of stitches that you have and go ahead and put a marker there so that you know that that's when you're going to be switching from the green yarn to the black yarn. So for me, I don't really need a marker for this first part because it's just the join, so it's easy to know. But I will be placing a marker since I chained 106. That means that I should have about 106 double crochet, or probably like 105, because, well, I should have 106 double crochet. So I will be putting my marker at 53rd stitch. And then we begin double crocheting around as normal. So I'm going to start off with this green yarn and I will be crocheting to my marker, and then once we meet the marker I will show you guys how we're going to change yarn just to be sure, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so we are back again, and I am reaching the end of round 12. So I'm just showing you all how I am changing the yarn. So I showed you how I changed the yarn here where the marker is, but you're also going to change the yarn right when you reach the end of the row and start the new one. So I actually am at the point where I have one more double crochet left. So you're going to change the yarn color at this point so that it's kind of seamless, so that you don't have any black bleeding into the green. So do your double crochet as before, right? Until we get to that very last stitch before we finish it off. Then you're going to take your new color, which for me is the green, and tie it on. My goodness. Okay. And I'm going to finish the double crochet now with the green yarn, so that when I pull it through, we have this beautiful green loop on there. We can go ahead and start the next row completely in green. And then as I go, I am just tucking my tails. What I do is I push the, like we're crocheting with the green, so I push the green tail to the front so that we don't see the black, because if you see the black, it's just really ugly to me. So now I'm going to slip stitch to the top of the chain 2 that we used to start the round, chain 2, and begin double crocheting across, taking my tails and tucking them, as I said, taking care to push the green in the front and the black in the back, so that your tails can be tucked and you don't see that black, or if we're working on the black side, that green bleeding through.
Okay, and after you sew the black oval that we just created onto the waistband, we are going to need to create the drawstring for the waistband, so that's the last step. If you recall, we crocheted the length of the chain for our skirt to fit around the widest part of our waist, which means it's going to be a bit loose if we put that, pull that up above our hips. And so you're going to just create a chain of as long as you need for it to be. And you can use a darning needle or you can do this by hand and weave it loosely through the waistband, but make sure that when you weave it, the final part of the drawstring where you will pull it and tie it at your waist is on the inside of the skirt and not on the outside. That way it won't be noticeable. And you've got a skirt. Show me how love again. Yeah, show. Only tell me that you think I'm pretty. Show me how to love again. Show me how love again.